Last year, I was sitting in my room doing homework like any typical weekday night when my roommate and best friend of over 8 years came in and handed me a letter. She left the room and I started to read. In the letter, she told me that when we were in high school, she was raped by one of our peers. I was shocked, numb. I didn't know what to say, let alone how I could support her. This is when I turned to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center for guidance. I've personally witnessed how putting the resources from the NSVRC to use can lead to positive outcomes, and I am here to provide you all with reasons why we should put our class donation towards the NSVRC. I will start by defining the problem. Is sexual violence really an issue in the US? Then I will describe how the NSVRC is working to combat this problem. And I will wrap it up by describing to you where our donation will go. Someday you may be presented with a similar situation to mine, and it is important as a supporter you know how to respectfully go about supporting your loved one. First, is sexual violence really an issue in this country? The National Intimate Partner and Sexual Violence Survey assesses sexual violence, stalking, and intimate partner violence victimization among adult men and women in the U.S. In 2018, they found that nearly 50% of women and 25% of men in the U.S. will experience some form of contact sexual violence in their lifetime, whether it be rape, being made to penetrate someone else, sexual coercion, or unwanted sexual contact. They also found that 1 in 5 women in the U.S. will experience attempted or completed rape in their lifetime, and 1 in 14 men in the U.S. will be made to penetrate someone else in their lifetime, again, attempted or completed. The U.S. Department of Justice conducts a similar survey called the National Crime Victimization Survey. They found that rape/sexual assault cases nearly doubled from 2017 to 2018, as shown by this table I've provided you. So, why should this matter to me? What if I'm not part of those statistics? Well, you are part of the support system. A study conducted by Courtney Ahrens and her colleagues, published in Psychology of Women Quarterly in 2007, puts the support system of survivors into perspective. In this study, they interviewed 102 female rape survivors. They found that survivors were 5 times more likely to tell an informal support provider, meaning family or friends, than a formal support provider, meaning police, doctor, etc. And they also found that the most common reason for telling was help seeking. Lastly, they found that survivors who received negative reactions from the person they told were more likely to report detrimental outcomes to their mental health than non-detrimental outcomes. So, if someone were to confide in you during a situation like this, would you know how to react or where to turn to for information for how to support this person? This is where the NSVRC comes in. As stated on their website, the NSVRC's mission is to provide leadership in preventing and responding to sexual violence through collaborating, sharing, and creating resources and promoting research. As stated in the mission, the largest part of the NSVRC's work is to create and share resources. On their website, they state, your donation helps to create materials and distribute information to support individuals and organizations working to eliminate sexual assault and help survivors heal. These materials that they create will then reach community rape crisis centers all around the nation. Another large part of the NSVRC's work is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which just happens to be this month. Part of this campaign is to create free resources for public use. 2 important resources that I found were Your Consent Guide and the Consent Quiz. These resources help define consent and detail key considerations to think about before, during, and after asking for it. There is a free PDF available of both of these resources on the website that I have provided. Another resource for this campaign is called the Campaign Guide. This details how you can get involved by being part of an event or even planning one yourself. In this guide, there are 2 key dates. The first one is April 7th, which they have labeled as a day of action. They encourage everyone to wear teal to serve as a conversation starter for consent, respect, and support for survivors. The other date is April 29th, Denim Day. This date is to support survivors and educate yourself and others about all forms of sexual violence. Another part of the campaign guide is an event planning guide. So, if you want to start your own event to advocate for survivors, the NSVRC provides a free how-to guide on how to do that. Once you create your event, the NSVRC will then publish your event on their national website and provide the necessary gear needed for the event, meaning visual displays, a media outreach packet, t-shirts, buttons, stickers, other souvenirs like that. So, why choose a national nonprofit over a small community rape crisis center or any other nonprofit organization for that matter? Well, your donation helps to end sexual violence and provide both survivors and their support systems with resources. Once again, if you're not part of the statistics, you may be part of the support, and it is important to be prepared to provide support or know where to look if you are unsure. On the NSVRC website, under the Friend and Family tab, they provide a free 23-page guide on how to help survivors. And under the Survivors tab, they provide survivors with resources on where to find help and how they can heal. A donation to this national nonprofit helps spread the word to every small community. In summary, I have provided you with many reasons as to why we should put our class donation to the NSVRC. I started by explaining the overarching problem and then moved on to explain how the NSVRC is working to eliminate this problem. And lastly, I explained what exactly our donation would benefit. So, vote for a donation to the NSVRC and help support both the survivors of sexual violence and their support system.